YouTube podcast world. What's up, family? You already know what it is. Page and Plays podcast here. Going to be giving you week 12 of NFL. I was going to do a separate one with the Thanksgiving, but I'm just going to do it all in one and tell you the little teaser that I would have for that. Sorry I didn't able to do it Tuesday. I know it's Wednesday. It's Friendsgiving. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Happy holidays to everybody. Just want to say that out loud. I've been adulting. Maybe some of my futures has show. I've been adulting the last couple of days. Not only with the holidays, but got a birthday coming up within 3 weeks. So, a lot of stuff that I have to even do and catch up on. And, trust me, Monday and Tuesday was the two busiest days of just talking and just handling things on the phone all day. It was nuts. But let's talk some football. Let's start with the Thanksgiving games and the Black Friday game, and then we'll go down from all the way to Sunday, okay? We got the Packers and Lions playing tomorrow, 12 o'clock game, 12:30 game. Lions -7.5. Packers to cover, Lions to win. I love my Packers. The one thing I worry, though, I don't think Aaron Jones will be playing. If he doesn't play, I don't think this offense is set up to be successful. You can run on this team. If I'm the Lions, I saw David Montgomery rushing prop, TD prop, and I didn't really like it. So I will go with Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, if you parlay Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, Montgomery anytime touchdown, I think you'd be pretty solid. The only thing that wonders if the Packers cover, it would be if Zaire Alexander comes back. And see, that would kind of limit some of the pass game for the Lions a little bit, not too much. But like I said, you can still run on this Packers team, man. And I think it'll be a little close because the Lions defense. So listen, defensive line wise, I think they're pretty solid. Linebacker is where I get a little suspect, and then there is some injuries, of course, in the secondary that is affecting this team at the moment. So that's why I would say it'll be a closer game. 7.5. See, that's the catch, because if you win by 7 points in the game, you still lose if you're picking the Lions. So that's why I would say they win, but Packers cover. Next game, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys -11. I got Commanders to cover, Cowboys to win. In this situation, Rivera shows up as a +11 double-digit underdog. I would never trust him as a double-digit favorite, but as a double-digit dog, and it's against the Cowboys, he usually actually kind of shows up in these games. Both teams can move the ball efficiently. The Commanders secondary is kind of beat. And, they're still a young and experienced team in the secondary. I think you could pass up and down on them. I expect CeeDee Lamb to have a good game. So look into CeeDee Lamb receiving props, anytime touchdown. I think that happens. But I do think they get some points on the, like I said, Commander side. So I actually like them to cover the +11. I actually think I'm about to make this probably a play. And the over-under is at 48.5. I got to go an over just because from what I'm saying, both teams can move the ball. I believe Sam Howell is actually going to be the quarterback for the Washington, at least for a couple of years, because I think he kind of showed himself this year that he can actually play the game. Next game, and this will be the finale of Thursday night, you have the 49ers taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. You got Seattle as +7.5 point favorite, or correction, underdogs. 7.5 favorites are the San Francisco 49ers. I got the Cardinals. Why am I saying the Cardinals? What the fuck? Get it together. Okay, get it together. Seahawks, maybe because I'm thinking about birds. Seahawks to cover, 49ers to win. It's just the hooks, bro. I'm not a fan of hooks. And if you know me, I usually would take the underdog when it comes to hooks. But I have a feeling I think Geno Smith might be hurt. And I don't know if he was not going to play this game. But then you can't really, it's kind of like either 49ers or nothing, honestly. The plays that I do have for Thanksgiving would be the Lions and the 49ers. You tease that down from 7.5 and you tease it down to a half. So you guys pretty much just got to win the game if you're going to pick those two teams. That would be my teaser if you're going to do a two-team teaser for Thursday. Now, let's talk about Friday. It's Black Friday, and I wouldn't be mad if you include this in it. We got the Miami Dolphins traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Jets are +10 point underdogs. I got Miami to win the cover still with the 10 points. So if you did, let's say if you did Packers, well, Lions, San Fran, Miami, and you tease those down, you'll have Miami as -3. I still think that's pretty solid. But to talk about this game fully, the quarterback change, bro. It's Tim Doyle. Boyle. I don't really give a damn, bro. This guy was on my Packers team as a backup, third string backup. He tried to compete for the Lions as a backup. I remember that because I think Hard Knocks had it. I wasn't impressed, and I believe he played last year for Arizona, I believe too, right? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I respect this Jets defense, man, but hey, how much more can you take? How much more can you take, man? Eventually, these numbers are this defense around the y'all remember the Ravens, like the not the Super Bowl year, like the '01 year. We're talking about the OG Ravens when they went to like '03, '04, '05, like from '03 to like '07. They had a defense but no quarterback, and then they get old Eric McNair, and then he starts breaking down, and then obviously they looked up and got Joe Flacco. That's how I look at this Jets team with A-Rod, bro. Don't even play for this year, bro. Just sit out. Let's hope something happens. I know there's going to be probably a coach change because now the locker room is tripping on Salah, I believe, probably after this situation. But anyway, if you had Trevor Siemian starting, I would still would have picked the Dolphins anyway because Trevor Siemian shows me everything I need to know for the few times he's been a starter. He's been fade city. But I think with Ramsey back, it definitely improves that secondary. You get to see Xavier Howard fly around. You get to see Javon Holland fly around. Hey, I think they're getting healthy in the right time. They're bringing back Mozart. They got Akey back, the rookie. They got a lot of players back coming in. It's really Tyreek Hill, Waddle. We need them guys to be healthy in this defense to transition to where they are, and we're probably talking about a possible Super Bowl contender. We are, because I think the big games will be more better when you have Jalen Ramsey on the field. Now, let's go into Sunday slate, Sunday night, and then Monday night, of course. You already know. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Houston, take on the Texans. Texans plus 1 point underdogs. I got the Texans to win the cover. And I did go against the Jags last week, but I mean, you win some, you lose some, right? But no, all honesty, man, this is a game where I would probably stay away from because I can't really pick a side. Because I do feel like both teams are pretty good and revamped. I will lean towards the over 48.5. I know it's a lot of points, but I could see it being a 28-24 game, and that's 52 points right there, and you hit the over. Or I can see it on the game winning field goal. What if it's tied up 28-28? Yeah, 28-28, right? Yeah, if it's 28-28, yeah. So yeah, you get the point. I see it in one of those type of games. Next game, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Colts minus 2.5 point favorites. I like the Colts, but I wouldn't know about this game either because, well, no, I'm going Colts. I had to think about it. If you watched that Buccaneers game last week against the Niners, they seem very competitive, yes. But the one thing that I've been saying all year about this team, as much credit as I give Baker Mayfield, this team cannot flat out run the football. Like, if you can watch the little 15, 16-minute little minute clips they show you of the whole full game, all I saw was screens coming out the backfield, receivers running backs in motion to go out and slants and slots. That right there is a sign that y'all can't run the ball. And I mean, we seen it when they were able to like run right at the one. They had, I mean, I know it's the 1 yard line, but I mean, granted though, like they had wide open holes in certain situations, but I just don't think they got the personnel to run. I really don't. I think it's the coaching. I don't really think it's the personnel because I think Rachaad White is actually pretty solid if you actually run them. But I don't know. I actually like this going. Let's see what the total is. I think the total might be a great play. Let's see. Under 43.5 seems it seems like it's low, but the way I have a feeling like I think it goes under. Under 43.5. That might have to be a play because I think with the backup with not Baker, with Gardner Minshew and then having Baker Mayfield, there's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be some wild play. I think it'll be turnovers either side. Buccaneers got a good front seven that can stop the run. Colts, they're not bad on defense as well. So I think this is kind of an under game. I could see it being a 24-10 Colts game. I like the under 43.5. I know it's kind of low, but I actually really like it. Next game, we got the New England Patriots taking on the New York Giants. Giants are plus 3-point underdogs. I don't think I'm crazy if I say Giants cover, right? I almost feel like they'll cover this game. I don't know what's wrong with the Patriots. I almost feel like the Bill Belichick empire is starting to dissolve. I mean, let's be real, bro. This guy coaching staff consists of his sons, former players, and buddies. So Matt Patricia, Bill O'Brien, Gerard Mayo, and I think he got two of his sons. I wouldn't have an issue if they were winning, but they've been fucking losing and they're suck. Don't get it wrong, the Giants suck too. I could very much think the Giants can actually take this game on purpose. But I don't really know, bro, because that ball is an offensive genius, bro. If he got Tommy DeVito going up and down the field, I really don't think it matters who the quarterback is, bro. So I'm going to go with the slight upset and pick the Giants to win and cover this game. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers traveling to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Titans minus 4-point favorites. Listen, I picked the Titans last week and I got burnt. And it was against a team like the Jags. I was bound to bounce back. Well, I'm back on them again, and I'm picking them against the Panthers. Listen, shout out to my second city, Charlotte. I love Carolina, but this team is bad. This team is very bad. Like, I know anybody can throw on the Titans, but other than Thielen, there's nobody that has separation, bro. So I don't think that will really be the offensive line has really been a problem. So you got to worry about Simmons. If you're the Titans, bro, this is the game when Henry has to have at least over 50-some yards, right? Because the last 2 weeks, we've been seeing 20, 30 yards combined. I'm expecting 50, 60 points, yards, should I say, with Derrick Henry. I'm expecting a touchdown. Will Levis even throw a couple of touchdowns. I do think the Panthers would try to make this competitive, but I really don't know. I think Frank Wright is already in the hot seat in his year one. I think Tepper, which is the owner, but you know what? It's partially his fault too because he wanted Bryce Young, and I was one of the few people that even thought C.J. Stroud was capable of being the main guy, and look what's happening in Houston. I think this is you trade everything for this one, and it's not even working out, not even a sign of working out. I almost feel like you need to get a whole new coaching staff. I think this situation reminds me of the Rams. You remember when they traded and got Jared Goff? And then they traded everything away and sucked, and he barely played. And then once they got McVay, it kind of rejuvenated Jared Goff, I have to say. So I think you got to get somebody new for Carolina. Is it Jim Harbaugh? Possibly, because that's maybe a quarterback that could get him to work. That might be the only guy because I don't think Jim Harbaugh staying in Michigan. So this Panthers team is a mess. This Titans team is a mess, but I trust myself more with the Titans and better coaching than the Panthers right now. Next game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are plus 2-point underdogs. I got the Steelers to win and cover this game. I do think there will be some resurgence now that Matt Canada has finally been gone, bro. I was wondering how long it would be for this guy to leave, and they got him out of time this week. People sit there may say it doesn't matter, but I do feel like that means the offense can be a little bit more flexible and they can try a little more things out. Because, every other week there's a brand new Steelers receiver complaining about why they're not getting the ball. It used to be Perkins for weeks. Now it's Deontay Johnson. I do think they let everything air out, and of course they'll run through Najee. But, with the Bengals, I know there's no more Joe Burrow, unfortunately, but I'm not going to sleep on them because they do got Jake Browning, but I haven't seen much of them. I wouldn't bet this game off rip because I don't really know, but uh, expect this to be a low total game. I think this total, let me see what this total is while I'm on here. And yes, I use my phone so I can see and talk, and it makes sense. 35 and a half. Damn. Damn. It goes under, though, because I can see it being a 16-13 game, either or. So, under, I mean, the reason why I believe a lot of these unders have been hitting bad quarterback play all year, let's be honest. A lot of bad quarterback play. And that's the reason why I feel like a lot of these overs are so normal to where they're almost 30, 35 and a half. It's crazy, but knowing that this is division rival game too, and the AFC North is the toughest division, this pretty much will probably go under for real. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Saints plus 1 point dogs. I am taking the Saints. And you know what? You can put that in right now because I'm taking the Saints while they're still slight underdogs. We're going to take advantage of this. I don't understand the coaching with Atlanta. Now you're going back to Ritter. And how many times have I told you guys to fade Ritter? Now, if you're talking about the Saints, we don't know about J-Mo be playing or Carr, but I feel like if they play it through Kamara first, this is how I feel like the Saints have to win. They're going to win nasty games, but this is how they have to win. Their defense is going to be good enough to keep them in this game, of course, but it has to be run the ball with Kamara, do the little wildcat run with Taysom Hill because we know that's what he's going to do, but it's effective. And I saw that if Jameis Winston does play, I saw that Olave was able to get some nice, solid catches that, every time Carr Olave try to do it, he drops them. So I don't think it will be that bad of because I don't think Derek Carr is all that. So I think him and J-Mo is about almost the same, honestly. But rely on Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill running the ball, and, make it manageable for Jameis Winston. You can't do this 3rd and 13, 2nd and 14. That's when things get bad. And like I said with the Falcons, bro, they're turnover machines as far as the quarterback spot. I respect Bijan Robinson, but what have I always been saying so far with this? If you shut down the run, everything else will collapse. And I believe the Saints will do that. This is a game that they should win, and I believe they will win this game and cover, even as a 1 point underdog. Give me that. Next game, we have the LA Rams traveling to Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are now minus 1 point favorites. I saw earlier they were plus 1 point underdogs, but don't really matter, right? It's 1 point. I go with Cardinals to win and cover. I don't know what's wrong with this Rams team. I think Cooper Kupp may not be playing. Stafford looks awful this year. This is what happens, right? I want people to realize that. You traded away your future and all of that, and for a Super Bowl, which, I think they're okay with getting it. But now look at it, right? You could have had a top 10 pick last year. You blew it. And, it's a lot of depth they don't have too, a lot of injuries that hit this team. And when I'm the Cardinals, I don't think they go another quarterback. Kyler Murray has, I think, showed that he has no rust. It is in the desert, so I kind of will give him the lean because of that too. I think this team will find a way to win this game, and I think the Rams. I'm just going to admit it. I think they're on the verge of quitting. I almost feel like I said early in the year, I almost feel like McVay, Stafford, and Donald will all walk out in the end of the season if they don't make the playoffs. Don't look like it's going to happen, so I think it might happen. It just might. I hope not. Well, I don't give a fuck if they do or not. Let's be real. But I think the Cardinals win and cover this game. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Mile High, take on the Broncos. Broncos minus 1 point favorites. I got the Broncos to win the cover, but I'm more confident on the under 36. Yes, 36 total points. I'm more confident on that one. I think this game would be almost similar to Sunday night, actually, should I say, when the Broncos played the Vikings. that altitude kind of got the Vikings. The Vikings should have won that game, but I think the altitude kind of burnt them out. I think it'll be the same way with the Browns, but I do think the defenses will kind of be – the defenses on both sides will be competitive. It's just on what quarterback doesn't make the mistake. And if you're having Dorian Thompson, Robinson playing, which I respect from the UCLA games and his days there. But yeah, I just feel like Broncos will win this game. If it's a 13-10 game, I can see it being a 14-10 game, 17-13 game. However scenario, it's still going to be under the total. That's my idea, and that's my go-to of that game. Next game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be in Philly. You got the Eagles -3. I love the Eagles -3 in this spot. Now, I'm not going to front and say this won't be a sweat because – so here's my analogy. When you look at the Eagles, in order to stop the Eagles, you have to be able to shut down that run game. And if you watch Monday night, Chris Jones alone was dominating the run game for at least 3 quarters of the game. And we saw Philly struggle and struggle and struggle. The only thing Chiefs mistakes is the reason why the Eagles lost that game. Not the Eagles, the Chiefs lost that game. Simple dumb mistakes is why they lost that game. But this one, Buffalo can't stop the run. And if I'm Philly, I'm attacking that run defense. And I was talking to somebody today, it's not really hard to stop the tush push or the brotherly push, whatever you want to call it. The problem with this day of age of football is, other than Aaron Donald and Chris Jones, everybody is this hybrid type lineman. We don't have this 275 to 325 defensive tackles anymore that can just stuff the middle. We don't see a lot of them like that no more. And that's why when you watch the Rams and Chiefs play the Eagles, those 2 tackles, right, Chris Jones and Aaron Donald, they're the reason why a lot of, they were having trouble. But, the only thing I will concern with the Eagles with me is it's the secondary. Because if MVS didn't drop that pass, we're probably talking about the Eagles losing that Monday night game. I know you have to worry about Diggs, and I think that's the main concern. The safety they got from the Titans, I do think if he's kind of like out there looming around, I think he'll focus on Diggs because this guy could change games. He very much can change games. This is the true number 1 receiver that they're actually playing up against, and they have been struggling. But I still like Philly in this spot. And let me see what the over-under is. The over-under is at 48. I will lean over. But I still think Philly wins this game. -3, I'll do that. Next game. This is an interesting game right here. Kansas City Chiefs going to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Raiders plus 9.5 point underdogs. I'm going on the Raiders to cover, Chiefs to win. The main pick is definitely going to be the Raiders to cover the plus 9.5. Listen, I saw something today about the Raiders that is actually quite interesting when you think about it. It is really all up to Mark Davis. The Raiders next year could possibly be a Super Bowl contender. I'll at least say a playoff caliber team, if that makes sense. They're already in the hunt. They got Crosby. You got Tyree Wilson, who still is a younger defensive end. You just need some linebackers and upgrade that secondary if you're on the defensive spot. But, offense, you got Jacobs. Jacoby Byers has played a lot good this year. You got Devontae Adams, arguably still top 5 receiver. Mayer is a solid tight end that's young. And you got a left tackle that no one talks about, but he's actually pretty consistent. All you're missing is a quarterback if you're not liking Aiden O'Connell. If you're Mark Davis, you have to ask yourself, right, if you're like talking to the Bears or any of those teams in the top 3, top 5, do you make a call to get a quarterback, trade up for it, like what Carolina did? I think it'll be a better high risk reward situation in Raiders Nation, but Antonio Pierce needs to be the head coach. I think he needs to be the head, not the interim no more. He needs to be the full head coach. I think that's the only time I think this Raiders team can have opposed to doing something. Because I've seen him as a player, Antonio Pierce, as he was the middle linebacker captain for the Giants and won a Super Bowl. I think he won 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. But you can even hear him in the high school ranks how dominant he was as a coach. Enough of all that. This team is definitely programmed differently with the side of McDaniels, because I think McDaniels was holding them back. The Chiefs, on the other hand, we can admit, as much as I respect Mahomes, the receiver core other than Kelsey is not there. They're more of a slow to game. Mahomes now is more of a manager. We let Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire run the rock. They're more of a running back by committee team, and I can't be mad at that because their defense has actually been pretty solid. But I do see, I can see the Raiders doing the same thing the Eagles did. I'm not saying they'll win the game outright, but plus 9.5, division rival game, it's going to be a close game. And Raiders fans, man, I know it's not LA. I know y'all wish it was LA Raiders again. Don't get it wrong. I wish it was too, because I think it's more of a home field for you guys than the LA teams there. But y'all need to have fans out there, man. Y'all need them. I think this team is on poised to do something special, if not this year. I'll definitely see something next year with a good offseason. So give me the Raiders to cover the 9.5, but I do have Kansas City to win the game. Next game, we have Sunday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens traveling to LA to take on the Chargers. Chargers plus 3.5 point underdogs. I got the Ravens to win this game. I usually always have a gut feeling when I feel like this is it for a coach. I believe if Chargers don't win this game, which I don't think they will, we're saying bye-bye to the Staley, whatever the hell his name is, bro. I mean, they should have won that game against Green Bay. They should have. I know Johnson dropped, and I think he's looking like a bust this year. We have to say it. The Chargers can't run the ball. So I would look at Austin Eckler under his rushing props. I would go under that. He's good. At this point, I know he's good catching out the backfield, but I just think you need to make him a slot receiver, and you just get a legit number 1 running back or 2 running backs and make it work, because I don't really know about this team, bro. The defense isn't good. I almost feel like the Ravens can run all over this team and not really throw the ball that much. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Baltimore Ravens to cover. I know it's 3.5, but I will wait. From what I'm seeing, I see a lot of numbers is juiced up to the Chargers. So we'll see. If it drops to -3, -2.5, I might have a decision to make on that, because I probably do like the Ravens. Lastly, Monday Night Football. Yes, I said it, Monday Night Football. And this is the one Monday night game I always hate watching. I always hate watching this game, but it's because of the market. We got the Chicago Bears, versus the Minnesota Vikings. This is at Minnesota. You got Bears plus 3. I got Bears to win the cover. I don't even know how they'll do it. I don't really know how much to science to it. I almost feel like you say take the plus 3. If you see a 3.5, take the Bears 3.5, because we saw how they were in the game against the Lions all last week, which I had a feeling they were going to cover. And yeah, not only did they blew the game, I mean, they also got hit with a safety at the end. So you should be glad if you got about 10 at 10. 7.5, you were getting a little uncomfortable at that point. But 10.5 and up, I think it was at 11 at one point, you would have won on that one. I do think they win this game. It just depends on if Justin Jefferson will be back. I think Dobbs is starting, and we starting to see the reality that Dobbs is being typical backup. It's an amazing story for what he's been doing all this year, but I bet against Dobbs, and this season, and it panned it out. But let's see, over under is 43. I gotta go under. I can see it being a 2017 game. However, though, Brian Flores does have this Viking defense being very good, and the Bears can play some solid defense too if the offense is playing well. But as always, man, hit the like button, subscribe, comment. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope y'all eat good. I'm going to spam the shit out of this on Instagram. And the people that see me on Instagram, that when I post this on my regular account. By the way, follow the page account, Pays and Plays _ podcast. I see y'all be looking. So I'm gonna keep spamming it all the time until y'all start looking, because I see numbers of some of the dumb shit I post as far as memes, and it'd be like 100 people that like it. But then when I post my shit, it'd be maybe like 35 people. Bro, I don't need all that. I need all the likes, all the subs. I need all of that, because I want some extra cheese. It's holiday time coming up. Come on, man. Let's get this motherfucking money. But enjoy.